Have you ever sensed a smile that didn't feel genuine, or received a congratulation that seemed a bit forced? In life, sometimes what's most unsettling isn't open criticism, but rather the quiet envy and hidden deception. Emotions people hide behind what appear to be friendly smiles. Have you ever wondered if you're surrounded by people like that? Imagine you've just achieved something significant at work, feeling a surge of pride as everyone around you smiles and congratulates you. But suddenly, something makes you pause. You sense that someone is smiling, yet their eyes convey something different. Could it be that behind their congratulations, a hint of jealousy is concealed? Stoic philosophy doesn't just teach us how to live with calmness and peace. It also sharpens our awareness to see through what lies beneath the surface in others. Today, I'll share with you 10 subtle yet powerful signs to help you discern who is truly sincere and who may be wearing a mask. These aren't just simple tips, but principles tested over thousands of years, empowering you to safeguard your peace of mind and steer clear of toxic relationships. Join me as we delve into each of these signs in detail, and be sure to watch until the end to ensure you don't miss a single lesson. Each sign is not only a tool for recognition, but a key to protecting yourself and building a life filled with happiness and tranquility. And if you're ready, leave a comment below saying, "I'm ready," so we can begin this journey together. All right, let's start with the first sign. Sometimes the truth isn't in what's said, but in what's done. To truly understand someone's intentions, you need to look beyond words and promises. Let's uncover how to recognize the first sign: authentic actions. Sign 1. Pay attention to actions. In Stoic philosophy, there's a timeless truth we are constantly reminded of. Actions speak louder than words. Words can easily shift, and praise can be just a facade. But actions, that's where a person's true nature is revealed. When someone thinks no one is watching, that's often when their real self comes to light. Think about a familiar situation. You have a friend who always says they'll be there to support you whenever you need them. But when the moment comes for real help, they evade or come up with unconvincing excuses. This isn't just an empty promise, it's a sign of insincerity. Genuine people don't need to say much about what they'll do, they simply do it. Ask yourself, have you ever encountered someone like this? There's a well-known story of a Stoic student in ancient Rome who would quietly observe the behavior of those around him without judgment. One day, he noticed a colleague who was always speaking highly of friendship and loyalty, but quickly avoided and turned his back when a friend faced financial hardship. The difference between his words and actions revealed everything. The student realized this was not the type of friend he wanted to keep close. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once taught, "Do not let what is outside affect your inner self," meaning, do not let flowery words lead you astray. When observing others, pay attention not only to what they say, but more importantly, to what they do, especially when they believe no one is watching. True actions are the mirror of true character. To apply this principle, start by spending time observing the behavior of those around you in various situations, particularly when there's no direct benefit to be gained. You may be surprised to find that some people consistently treat others well and keep their promises, even when there's nothing in it for them. In contrast, there will be others whose inconsistency reveals signs of deception and envy. Focus on those who act out of sincerity, not out of the need for attention or self-interest. But sometimes, actions can be masked by sweet words. So, what should we do when we receive praise and aren't sure if it's genuine? Let's explore the next sign to help us see through people's intentions, how they respond to your success. Sign 2. Evaluate their response to your success. There's a famous saying, You'll know who truly stands by you when you succeed. When you achieve something significant, a genuine person won't just offer words of congratulations. They'll truly rejoice with you, sharing in your happiness as if it were their own. On the other hand, envious individuals often struggle to hide their discomfort, no matter how hard they try. They may give you half-hearted compliments, or even act indifferent, as if your success holds no real meaning. Imagine you've just received praise from your boss for outstanding work, and a colleague comes over to congratulate you. They're smiling, but there's a hint of displeasure, or even a cold look in their eyes. They might say something like, "Well, that's all right," or "Lucky, isn't it?" Even if the words sound positive, the tone lacks enthusiasm. This subtle reaction reveals envy, an attempt to downplay the importance of your achievement. Seneca, the ancient Roman writer, tells a story about a student who, after excelling in an exam and being praised in front of the class, faced a colleague who constantly praised him, but subtly diminished his accomplishment. This colleague repeatedly suggested that the student's success was simply due to luck, or that he just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Through this story, Seneca teaches us that when someone truly cares about you, they won't try to minimize your achievements with half-hearted words. Stoic philosophy teaches that while we cannot control the thoughts of others, we can recognize and protect ourselves from negative influences. Epictetus once said, "Only what's inside us truly matters." Genuine people will always stand by you during joyful moments because they aren't threatened by your success. They see value in your journey and are eager to share in that joy. On the other hand, envious people may see your success as something that diminishes their own efforts, which is why they feel uneasy. When someone congratulates you, pay attention not just to the words, but to the tone, gestures, and expression in their eyes. A genuine person will congratulate you warmly and sincerely, without hesitation. If you sense a lack of authenticity, take note of that feeling. Don't let insincere compliments affect you. Maintain your inner peace and pride in what you've accomplished. Think about the last time you achieved something significant. Who truly celebrated with you? Who offered only lukewarm praise? Recall how you felt in those moments, and you'll start to recognize who genuinely stands by you on your journey. But sometimes, recognizing someone's true nature goes beyond how they celebrate your successes. How they treat others around them, especially those who can't offer them anything in return, is also a significant clue. Let's explore the next sign. Observe how they treat others. Sign 3. Observe how they treat others. Marcus Aurelius once said, "True nobility is found in treating those who can offer you nothing with kindness and respect." Few things reveal a person's character more clearly than how they treat those in positions of lower status, especially those they cannot exploit or gain anything from. A sincere person treats everyone with respect and kindness, regardless of their status or potential benefits. Think about the service workers in your daily life. Waitstaff, security guards, or janitors. You may have noticed someone who is extremely polite and friendly with their boss or people in authority, but acts dismissively, coldly, or even orders around those who serve them. This behavior reveals a mindset that values power and status over genuine human connection. There's a story told by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus about a well-known noble who would often command his servants with a cold and harsh tone. When asked why he behaved this way, the noble replied, "They are merely servants, not worthy of respect." Epictetus responded, "That attitude reflects the poverty of your character, not theirs." Through this story, Epictetus reminds us that true nobility is found in treating everyone with kindness and sincerity, for compassion and respect do not depend on status or advantage. The Stoic philosophy advises us to cultivate nobility within ourselves, And a part of that nobility is treating others with respect and compassion, especially when they not offer us anything in return. Stoics believe that a person's character isn't defined by how they speak to important people, but rather by how they treat those whom society might overlook. Such actions help us create a life of harmony and inner peace. Pay attention to how someone treats those who are weaker or less influential than them. If they are genuine, you'll see consistent respect and kindness toward everyone, no matter who it is. However, if they're only interested in what benefits them, you'll notice a stark difference in how they act around those who can't offer them anything. Ask yourself, is this the type of person you want in your life? Reflect on a time you witnessed someone treating a server or subordinate poorly. Then ask yourself, is this someone I'd want to associate with? What does this reveal about their character? And also, if you were in their position, how would you act? However, to truly discern someone's character, sometimes we need to listen closely, not just to what they say, but how they praise and flatter others. So how can we distinguish genuine compliments from insincere flattery? Let's dive into the next sign. Sign 4. Distinguishing praise from flattery. Genuine praise is like a refreshing breeze, gentle, uplifting, and encouraging. Flattery, on the other hand, is like a storm. It may seem impressive and flowery, but it's often hollow and manipulative. In life, it's essential to learn the difference between sincere praise and false flattery, as overly sweet words can lead us astray and cause us to lose sight of our true worth. Imagine you've just completed a significant project and received compliments from colleagues. One person says, "Your presentation was fantastic. I really admire how you organized your ideas and detailed the data analysis." This praise is sincere, specific, and highlights your real strengths. But another person says, "You're amazing. No one could do it better than you." While it sounds great, it lacks depth and specifics. This is a sign of flattery, a compliment that could easily apply to anyone, designed to impress you or win your trust. There's a well-known story in Stoic philosophy about the emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius. As a leader, he often received flattering words from his courtiers. But instead of letting flattery feed his ego, Marcus constantly reminded himself, true honor does not come from flattery, but from sincere and helpful actions. He would even encourage his courtiers to give honest feedback, understanding that praise is valuable only when it's sincere and constructive. Flattery doesn't add to our value, but can instead lead us to vanity and delusion. Stoic philosophy teaches us that a person's worth does not come from the compliments of others, but from how we uphold our own values and virtues. Epictetus once said, "Don't let the praise or criticism of others sway your inner self." Genuine compliments help us grow, whereas flattery is a subtle trap, making us reliant on the opinions of others. When we understand this, we can hold on to our values and resist the pull of meaningless praise. Be careful to listen to every compliment you receive. When someone praises you, ask yourself, is this compliment specific and constructive, or is it just flowery words? Genuine compliments are usually accompanied by specifics and positive encouragement. Don't hesitate to ask questions or find out if they truly understand your work or accomplishments, as the truth often lies in the details. Have you ever felt you were being flattered excessively? Think back on such instances and consider whether the praise made you feel comfortable and trustworthy, or if it led you in a particular direction. From there, you can more easily distinguish sincere praise from meaningless flattery. To recognize sincerity, it's not just about how someone praises you. The real challenge is whether they can stand by their words consistently in various circumstances. Let's explore the next sign, consistency in actions. Sign 5. Observing consistency in behavior. True sincerity isn't just shown in words, but in how someone maintains their values consistently through their actions, in any circumstance. A sincere person doesn't change their attitude because of difficulties or personal gain. They live by a consistent set of principles, and this becomes evident in how they treat everyone. On the other hand, if someone easily shifts, warm one moment and cold the next, depending on what they can gain from you, that's a clear sign of deception and self-interest. Think about a colleague who is incredibly friendly and supportive when they need something from you, like your project expertise or your connections to upper management. But once they no longer need your help, they suddenly grow distant, aloof, or even ignore you. This change in attitude is a sign of an insincere relationship where their actions are solely guided by self-interest. A sincere person treats you the same regardless of what you can offer them. Stoic philosophy recounts a story about one of Epictetus' students. This student often claimed admiration and respect for those who lived by their values and principles. But when faced with a challenge, he quickly abandoned the very ideals he praised. One day, observing his student's actions in contradiction to his words, Epictetus gave a gentle smile and reminded him, "It's not your values that changed due to the circumstances, but rather you who chose to change yourself for temporary benefit." Epictetus' message was clear. A truly steadfast person will uphold their values regardless of changing circumstances. Stoicism teaches that a sincere person doesn't let temporary hardships sway their character. Marcus Aurelius once said, "We cannot control the circumstances, but we can control our responses." Those who are authentic aren't shaken by challenges or personal benefits. They stand by their chosen principles. On the other hand, people who easily change lack a solid foundation of values, which is a sign of deception. When evaluating someone, observe their behavior across various situations. Do they maintain the same attitude in success and in failure? Or do they shift based on immediate gain? A sincere person will remain consistent, no matter how challenging the situation. Trust those who are steady in their actions, as they are the ones truly worth valuing. Have you ever met someone who says one thing but does another? They might claim they value you, yet fail to fulfill their promises when it matters. Or perhaps you felt let down by someone who was once enthusiastic but grew distant as soon as they no longer needed you. If you've experienced this, you've witnessed a clear sign of inconsistency. However, sometimes deceit doesn't always show in their actions alone. It becomes especially clear when they're faced with criticism. Can a genuine person handle constructive feedback calmly? Let's explore the next sign, observing their attitude when criticized. Sign 6. Observing attitude when criticized. A sincere person does not hesitate to accept criticism, as they understand that feedback is an opportunity to self-reflect and improve. Rather than covering up or assigning blame, they face their shortcomings with humility and openness. However, for those harboring envy and deceit, criticism feels like a threat. It not only wounds their pride, but also stirs up defensive and negative reactions. Such individuals are inclined to get angry, blame the situation or others, and might even retaliate against those who pointed out their flaws. Think about a scenario you may have encountered at work. When a colleague receives feedback about a minor mistake, they immediately react harshly, blaming the system, other colleagues, or even the circumstances. Instead of taking responsibility and seeking improvement, they avoid it by finding excuses. This is a clear sign that they lack sincerity and have no intent to improve themselves, as a truly sincere person knows that criticism is a valuable chance for growth and learning. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said that a mature person listens to criticism like a humble student, rather than responding defensively like someone who is full of pride. On one occasion, one of his students was criticized for not adhering to Stoic principles. Instead of listening, the student became angry and defended his actions, even suggesting that the critic was jealous of his success. Epictetus simply smiled and reminded him, "When we are criticized, let us listen to grow rather than seek revenge." True resilience and sincerity lie in the ability to accept and improve, not in defending oneself against all criticism. In Stoic philosophy, embracing criticism is a crucial part of personal development. A sincere person sees criticism as a mirror reflecting their weaknesses, and they welcome it as an opportunity to improve. How someone responds to criticism reveals a lot about their true nature. Epictetus once said, "We must not let our pride stand in the way of our learning. Sincerity and resilience guide us through criticism to become better versions of ourselves." When evaluating someone, observe how they respond to feedback or criticism. Do they listen and view it as a chance to improve, or do they become defensive, angry, and blame others? A sincere person sees every criticism as an opportunity, while a deceitful person views criticism as a threat. Trust those who are unafraid to admit mistakes and willing to change. Have you ever met someone who couldn't accept any criticism? Were they willing to listen, or did they seek to evade it and even strike back? Such moments give you deeper insight into their true character. And also, ask yourself, how would you react if you were criticized? But sometimes, deceit doesn't only show in their reaction to criticism. It also emerges through subtle comparisons they make, aimed at diminishing the value of others. Let's explore the next sign. Pay attention to subtle comparisons. Sign 7. Pay attention to subtle comparisons. Envy often isn't immediately noticeable, but it can easily reveal itself through subtle comparisons. When someone frequently compares you to others, especially in ways that make you feel undervalued or inferior, this is a clear sign of insecurity and jealousy. Sincere people encourage and support you to become the best version of yourself, while those harboring envy attempt to downplay your worth by bringing up standards set by others. Imagine you've just completed an outstanding project and received praise from everyone around you. But then someone comes along and says, "Great job, but do you think it's as good as what Mr. A did? He was even more impressive." This seemingly harmless remark is, in fact, an attempt to downplay your achievement, making it seem ordinary by comparing it to someone else's success. Such comments are not genuine encouragement, but rather a subtle expression of envy. There's a story about the Stoic philosopher Seneca and one of his students. This student habitually compared himself to others who were more successful, which led to feelings of inadequacy and jealousy. Seneca advised him, "You need not compete with anyone except who you were yesterday." Success cannot be measured by comparing yourself to others, but by your own personal growth. This advice emphasizes that meaningless comparisons not only steal our joy, but also foster envy and insincerity toward others. Stoicism constantly reminds us that happiness doesn't come from trying to be better than others, but from striving to become a better version of ourselves each day. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not waste time competing with others. Focus on improving yourself instead." By distancing ourselves from needless comparisons, we find freedom and inner peace and avoid unnecessary envy and resentment. When someone purposefully compares you to others, be mindful and don't let their words impact your self-confidence. Remind yourself that everyone has their own unique journey and that your achievements don't need to be measured by anyone else's standards. If someone genuinely supports you, they won't need to mention others' success to make you feel lesser. Always take pride in your accomplishments and don't let irrelevant comparisons shake your confidence. Have you ever noticed someone using comparisons to undermine you? Think about the last time you were compared to someone else and ask yourself, was that person truly concerned about you, or were they just trying to make you feel inferior? Also ask yourself, Do you often compare yourself to others, and does it truly bring you joy or peace? The truth of a person can also be revealed in how they handle failure. Do they take responsibility and learn from their mistakes, or do they look for excuses? Let's explore the next sign. Observe how they handle failure. Sign 8. Observe how they handle failure. A person's attitude in the face of failure is a true reflection of their character. Someone who is sincere and steadfast will not shy away from their mistakes. They see them as opportunities to grow and learn. They understand that only by acknowledging and addressing their errors can they make progress. In contrast, envious and insincere people will often shift the blame to circumstances, colleagues, or any other factor besides themselves. To them, failure is a blemish to be avoided rather than a lesson to be learned. Imagine you're working on a project with a colleague. When the project doesn't yield the desired results, a sincere colleague will readily take responsibility for their shortcomings and may even encourage the team to reflect on how they can improve next time. On the other hand, an insincere person will immediately find excuses for themselves. They might blame the workload, tight deadlines, or even criticize colleagues for a lack of cooperation. This behavior clearly reveals a lack of sincerity and a reluctance to grow. There's a story about Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. During a failed military campaign, Marcus didn't blame his generals or soldiers. Instead, he asked himself what he could do better as a leader and was determined to learn from the setback. Marcus believed that failure does not determine our fate, but rather how we respond to it. By taking responsibility and learning from failure, he not only strengthened the trust of his soldiers, but also became a symbol of true leadership. Stoic philosophy teaches us that everything happens for a reason, and that failure is a natural part of the learning and growth process. Marcus Aurelius once said, "We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond." A sincere person will turn failure into a valuable lesson, learning from it and moving forward with resilience. Conversely, an insincere person will seek to shift blame to avoid facing the truth. When evaluating someone's character, observe how they react to failure. Do they accept responsibility and strive to improve, or do they quickly look for excuses and shift the blame to external factors? Sincere people are not afraid to own their mistakes and are always willing to learn. Trust those who can learn from their mistakes and continually strive for self-improvement. Have you ever met someone who could not admit to their mistakes and constantly blamed others? Think back to the last time you faced a setback. How did you respond? Were you brave enough to reflect and learn, or did you shift the blame to circumstances? These reactions reveal much about how we live and grow. But it's not only in how they handle failure that you can discern sincerity or deceit. You can also observe it in how they share personal information. Are they honest and humble, or do they exaggerate their achievements? Let's explore the next sign. Observe how they share personal information. Sign 9. Observe how they share personal information. The way someone shares their successes and failures can serve as a mirror, reflecting the depths of their soul and character. A sincere person usually speaks about their achievements with humility, focusing on the valuable lessons they learned. When it comes to failure, they accept responsibility openly, without avoidance or deflection. In contrast, insincere individuals tend to exaggerate their successes, turning their accomplishments into personal myths, while placing the blame for failures on others or on circumstances. Their storytelling is not to share experiences, but to craft an image that conceals their real shortcomings. Think of a familiar scenario. You may have met someone who frequently boasts about their achievements with a tone of self-importance. Each success story is recounted with exaggeration, as if they were the only person capable of such accomplishments. Conversely, when speaking of failure, They quickly complain about how unfair everything is, or that others didn't support them, without ever acknowledging their own responsibility. Such stories reveal not only a self-centered personality, but also a clear lack of sincerity. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, warned against arrogance and self-importance. He believed that the soul is dyed by the color of its thoughts. Marcus often reminded himself that success is merely one part of the journey, and that maintaining humility and acceptance of one's mistakes is crucial. In his life, even when he reached the heights of power, he constantly reflected on himself and sought to learn, steering clear of flattery and illusory fame. To Marcus, a sincere person is someone who takes accountability and remains humble in their words, not one who only recounts their victories. Stoic philosophy teaches that a person's words and the way they share reveal their inner character. When we boast, our soul is tainted with vanity. When we remain humble, our soul becomes clear and light. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not allow your soul to be tainted by illusions of grandeur." By maintaining humility and acknowledging our mistakes, we not only demonstrate sincerity, but also spread genuine peace and honesty to those around us. When someone shares their successes or failures, listen carefully. Do they emphasize the lessons and insights they gained? Or do they focus solely on boasting? When they talk about failure, do they accept their share of responsibility or look to shift blame to circumstances or others? Trust those who are humble in success and who accept their failures, for these are signs of a genuine and resilient soul. Have you ever met someone who is always boasting about their achievements, yet never acknowledges their own mistakes when things go wrong? Do such people bring positivity to your life, or do they simply make you feel smaller? And ask yourself as well, when you achieve success, do you share it sincerely, or do you try to embellish it to impress others? But there is one final, perhaps the most powerful sign: listening to your own feelings. Sometimes, intuition is the most effective tool for discerning sincerity from deceit. Let's explore the last sign. Sign 10. Trust your intuition. There are times when you don't need complex explanations or detailed analysis. Just listen to your intuition. Intuition is that subtle feeling, a deep-seated nudge that we often overlook in the rush of daily life. Sometimes, even when someone appears perfect, the unease or discomfort you feel in their presence may be a sign that they are not truly genuine. Intuition is our most natural warning system, an instinct that helps us protect ourselves from potential dangers. Think back to a time when you met someone who spoke sweetly and behaved perfectly, yet you couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. It might have been a fleeting glance, an insincere smile, or a way of acting that made you wary. These feelings are not meaningless. Your intuition is sending you a signal to exercise caution. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "A wise person trusts their intuition, for it is the natural way to safeguard oneself from hidden dangers." In a conversation with a friend, Epictetus advised never to ignore feelings of discomfort or doubt. He recounted how he once had a seemingly trustworthy companion, but he always felt uneasy around this person. Ultimately, he trusted his intuition and distanced himself. A decision he later realized saved him from many troubles. For Epictetus, intuition was an essential part of living a mindful and truthful Stoic life. Stoicism not only teaches us to live with strength and calm, but also encourages us to trust ourselves, including our intuition. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Our soul is like a compass, and when we listen to it, it guides us in the right direction." Stoic philosophy helps us understand that when something feels wrong, we don't need to wait for clear evidence or complex reasoning. That sense of unease is a reminder to tread carefully and step back. Don't hesitate to trust your intuition. It is a protective system that no one else can provide for you. If you feel uncomfortable or doubtful about someone, Take a moment to reflect rather than rationalize those feelings away. Sometimes, what you sense cannot be explained right away, but that caution can help you avoid unhealthy relationships. Trust in yourself and remember that your intuition is a reliable companion. Have you ever ignored your intuition and later regretted that decision? Or has your intuition ever signaled you to keep a distance from someone, only for you to realize later that it was the right choice? Remember, these subtle feelings are not baseless. They result from the observations, experiences, and deep understanding within your soul. Stoic philosophy is not just a guide for a peaceful and resilient life. It is also a tool to help you face the toughest mental challenges. Through each principle and lesson, we not only learn to improve ourselves, but also to see through others, discerning who is genuinely sincere and trustworthy, and who may have negative or insincere intentions. Healthy relationships are a tremendous source of motivation, helping you go further and live a life of true worth. Always remember that you deserve a life filled with joy, happiness, and authentic relationships. If you find these methods helpful, share this video with your loved ones and friends. Together, we can create a world where sincerity and inner peace are valued and spread. Life becomes more beautiful when we live in the company of those who genuinely understand and appreciate us. Try choosing at least one of these shared methods and applying it to your daily life. Don't treat it as just a theory. Let it be part of your growth journey, a tool that helps you recognize the good and remove the negative. And when you have experiences to share, come back here and tell us your story, your successes, your challenges, or anything you'd like to share. I will always be here, listening and journeying alongside you. Let Stoic philosophy be your companion on the path to inner peace and strength. Believe in yourself, build the life you've always desired, and remember, you have the freedom to choose meaningful relationships and to let go of what is unworthy. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it is a journey to discover the best version of yourself.